This is the story of Jason and Maria. Jason's wife is Cannibal. Jason, the husband of Maria, who is Cannibal, shared his story on Reddit. He was saying that, "My wife has started eating me alive and I don't know what to do. I'm using this throwaway account just to get my thoughts out. My name is Jason and hers is Mariana. We met in late August of 2021. I was smoking on the side of the building I worked at. I had just seen the death of my mother at the hands of a heroin overdose 3 days earlier. I didn't sleep a wink for those 3 days. So I sunk myself into my job at a terrible hardware store. She walked round the corner, past the giant propane tank, before she checked around her shoulder to look at me. Our eyes met instantly, then she smiled. Her beautiful black hair crept down her back. Her dark eyes were like out of a painting. She looked somewhat like my mom in a silly way. She smiled at me, so I smiled back. I even managed to give her a half-assed, "How you doing?" She kept walking. I've been wondering how my life would be if that's all it ever was. But it wasn't. She came back to the hardware store the following day. Mariana had stepped in looking for a handsaw. She saw me working behind the counter, then proceeded to ask for my help. She had a notepad which was open. She told me the exact details of what she wanted. A folding pruning saw. I checked her out, even gave her my employee discount. She placed the notepad down on the counter when paying and left without it. I was gonna chase her to give her the notepad, but I saw what it said. All that was written were the 2 words of "call me" along with her number. Later that night I did. She answered on the 3rd ring. We talked for hours, then scheduled a date for the following Saturday. Well, then it was history. We had a wonderful date. During that first date, I learned she was from Venezuela and why she was in town. The reason she was in town is because she had been visiting her uncle. We spent several more nights together, kissed the 4th date, then she went back to Venezuela. The day after our 5th, we had kept in contact, then started dating officially a few weeks after she returned to Venezuela. I offered to visit there several times. She said she didn't want me to. We had no relationship hiccups, not until I cheated on her. It was just once. I had gotten used to sexual polygamy because of the relationship with my ex-boyfriend. I should go into more detail on him, but we'll leave it at this. He didn't love me, just used me for money, along with my unconditional love for him. At least he used me for that until he left me for another guy. He wanted an open relationship, so I had gotten used to that. Maria said she had forgiven me. I don't think she ever had. She managed to visit the US again, then her visa was extended so she could move. This was all to the chagrin of her mother, who never wanted her daughter to leave, let alone for a gringo like me. Her mom said I would never understand their values. I never met or spoke to Maria's mom. We got married early 2023, March 5th in specific. She was lucky enough to get her green card back in September. At this time, I had switched jobs to a professional kitchen as a line cook. Her uncle gave her a job at the company he owned. Soon enough, I was able to switch from working full-time to working part-time. Then I could give Maria my undivided commitment as a house husband of sorts. We're both young. I'm 33, she's 31. I was able to re-engage in my interest with the guitar. One autumn evening, I played it for Maria. I failed a lot, and she didn't judge me for it. Understood my nerve damage. She always called me pretty. Never judged me for the mistakes I made because of the nerve damage in my arms, or the scars that caused them. A couple of weeks later, about the 14th, she had asked me randomly, "Have you ever wanted to eat anyone?" I responded no, then asked if she wanted to. "Yes, I do. Wanna eat me?" My sarcastic tone picked up. "Would you let me?" "If you asked nicely." We both giggled like baboons. The next night, she asked me, "Jason, can I eat you please?" "Sure, grab the carving fork." I smiled, then went to look at her, yet her face was bare with no emotion.